All right. Good Sunday afternoon. I'm playing Big Country Football League. This is my 1952 season of my career. I have completed the 48 season, the 49 season, the 50 and 51 season, and I'm in the final 2 weeks of the 52 season. This is game one of week 6, I think. It should be game one of week 6. I don't know why I have week 5 here. Game one of week 6. Oh, no, wait. Middletown at Grand Bay. Yeah, game 1 of week 6. Very strange why I have that written that way. Okay, what is today? 8/26. All right, so Middletown just came off. I just played Middletown. The Stokers, the Springfield Eagles came into Middletown. Middletown is 3-1. They were rated a D against this Middletown defense, which is A, which is the best in football. Middletown is the defending champs. They won their first title last year, and they are currently 2-2. Also with a D in the game because their offense not so good in general. And they found a way at home to win 20-13, holding off Springfield. Springfield tried the onside kick late and failed, and Middletown was able to just eat clock and wrap up the game. So Springfield, who could have spread their wings out, they're Eagles, they are the Eagles, so pardon the pun, they could have spread their wings out to 4-1 and take a nice, comfortable command of their division. Unfortunately, they ran into the defending champs, the Stokers, in the Stokers' house, and the Stokers got the job done. That was the last game of week 5. So now I'm about to play the first game of week 6. Middletown at 3-2 on the road to face the Grand Bay Grays, who are 2-3. Grand Bay is coached by Jones. They have the old vet Grantham at quarterback. Time and Cable are the backs. Roberson, Wilkerson, and James are the receiving core. The left side of their offensive line is White and Sims. Their center Williams. The right side of their line is Bernard and Watley. Their punter is Bonner. Their place kicker is Norton. This team rates out on offense a C. Their defense, their front three linemen, Cone, Hollins, and Jared King are the three defensive down linemen. Their outside backer, Wells, and Rodriguez. Their inside backers are McAndrews and Shelton in a 34 defense, or an Eagle defense, depending on. In 1952, this would have been more like an Oklahoma/Eagle defense. Cornerbacks, Bell the third and Washington. The free safety, their safety is Andrews and Surtees. And they rate out a C on defense. So this team is 2-3 all the way around a C team. And I'll match them up here in a second. The Middletown Stokers, the defending champions. Owner is Carlisle. He's also the GM. Jameson is their head coach. They have Ragsdale at quarterback. He's won his title finally for owner Carlisle. Hess and Tucker are the backs. Mike, Ross, and Kingsmith are the receivers. Mike has been steadily the best receiver in football the last few years. Left side of their line is Tolbert and Jackson. Center is Grabowski. And the right side of their line is Green and O'Toole. Foreman is their punter. Ulsa's their place kicker. And this team rates out a D on offense. And they were a D when they won the championship last year. Again, their defense is the best in football, is an A. And in this particular game, football time, higher defenses have a little more power over the charts. So an A is the best possible rating you can have. If you're going to have an A somewhere, offense or defense, you want it on defense. Right? Okay. Or maybe not. Maybe you want it on offense because you want to score more points. But A has a greater effect, a greater impact on A offenses. Let's put it that way. All right, anyway, long story short, the down linemen, Reese, Webb, Jenkins, and Bellows are the front four. The linebackers are Roberts, Candellini, and Highsmith. Highsmith got an interception in the last game. And Erickson and Washington are the cornerbacks. Jones and Kamen are the safeties. And their return man is Gable. All right, and again, they are a DA. So let's go ahead and get their matchups. Middletown is a D versus C. I am using the very first Time Sports book ever published. I don't even have the original files for this book anywhere anymore. I archive and keep everything. Somehow, this original files and book are long gone. So anyone who happened to buy this first book, you truly have something that I don't even have now in files. I couldn't even pull this up and republish it, or I could retype it and redo it, but pretty sweet. It's truly a collector's item now. I have one copy myself. This was the proof copy that they sent me. from the printer. All right, here we go. We got to get our lineup. So Middletown D versus C is D. So Middletown doesn't get hurt by that C defense. Grand Bay is a C versus A, though. This ought to be ugly. F. And now you see why that A defense is a big deal. The C defense of Grand Bay did not change their D, but this A brought their C to an F. So that's how important an A defense is in this particular matchup chart and book. All right, and I'm using the 16 American Football Possession 16. I also have this book also featured the Canadian 18 possession chart, which again, unfortunately, this particular book no longer even have the files on this one. So, all right, here we go. Grand Bay's the home team, so they get the ball first. Middletown second. One of my simple rules to keep things straight was the hometown gets the ball first and last. It does give them a slight advantage to have the opportunity to get the ball last. Whoops, I think I did that wrong. Grand Bay, Middletown, yeah, it should be, wow, and then I wrote it all down wrong. I am evidence that there's no such thing as multitasking, because when I talk and do something at the same time, I always mess up. I am perfect evidence there's no such thing as multitasking. All right, maybe for the opposite sex, but not for this guy. All right, Grand Bay, here we go. Kick return and things are assumed, and like going to go on the first drive of the game using F. So Grand Bay at home with an old man at quarterback facing the defending champion Middletown. This is not going to probably go well. 3 is a missed field goal. Missed field goal of 32 yards, man. So that's going to be Norton. So the fans groan as Norton misses a 32-yard field goal. Middletown goes to work 4. And they're on the D chart, so they're accustomed to this kind of slog, but they have a great defense, so they don't mind it. Punt. All right, we're going to get 2. That's going to be a turnover. Uh-oh, the turnover is defensive line, sack, turnover on down. So on 4th down, they went for it on a pass, and it's going to be a sack by the DL. What DL for Middletown? Reese, who is the defending Defensive Player of the Year, Reese with a sack, forces a TOD by so the Grand Bay coach in no man's land said, go for it. They called a play action, thinking they could trick the front 4, and Reese drags down the old man Grantham. He is the oldest quarterback in our league. Holy cow. Grantham was the oldest quarterback in the league when I wrote the description of the teams back when I published this, so he is definitely the old man. Middletown following a sack of the quarterback on a 4th down play. We're going to get, I got to roll that over. This was one of those dice that likes to roll and roll and roll. 4. They got a punt. Lucky for Grand Bay, Middletown is inept on offense. It's 0-0, folks, after the first quarter. Grand Bay takes the punt and goes to work driving 5. They're going to get a punt because they're on the F charts. Middletown forcing another punt, and we're going to see 4, another punt. This is starting to look like the gridiron games I've been playing. Grand Bay goes to work 4, punt. Of course, remember, they're on the F charts. It's by far the hardest way to score. And turnover. Middletown turns over before halftime. Oh, it's a punt, so luckily it was called back, and it ends up being a punt. 0-0 at halftime. Folks, it definitely feels like a gridiron game right now. Holy cow. When you have the league's #1 defense facing an average offense, and you have an average defense facing a below-average offense, you're going to get low scoring. All right, Middletown gets the ball to start the second half, and nobody's winning here. Turnover. Middletown turns over a punt, so luckily they're calling these incomplete, or they're calling them fumbles as down by contact or something. Grand Bay goes to work, gets 5. That's a punt, believe it or not. Middletown, somebody's got to break it open. 5, there it is, field goal finally. Middletown takes advantage of a short field, hits a 47-yard field goal, does Ulsa. And the crowd here is stunned, and now they really are looking at losing this game by 3 to whatever, right? Grand Bay needs a touchdown like toot sweep. There it is. Touchdown, Grand Bay's Old Man Grantham. Final drive of the third. Goes to work. Hand off to Time. Hand off to Cable. Hand off to Time. Pitch out to Cable. Quick pass to Wilkerson. How do they score? 2-yard dive for the fullback. Cable gets the final run. 2-yard run TD. The crowd here roars as they take the lead over the defending champs to wrap up the third quarter. Grand Bay 7. Middletown had a lead for one short moment. 3. Middletown starts the fourth quarter. 4. That's a punt. Oh, lucky for Grand Bay, Middletown is inept. And it's going to be a turnover. Oh, turnover is punt. So they end up punting the ball away. Middletown, what do? Can they win this ball game here on the final moments? 6. Yep, they're going to get a touchdown. Pass 17 yards to the split end. So Ragsdale drops back, 17-yard pass to the best receiver in our history, Mike. It is 10-7. Final drive of the game. Grand Bay will use the comeback rule. So they are on the F chart. They get to use, on their final possession, the comeback chart. So they get to shift up to D. They can tie the game on a 5. They can win the game on a 6. 5, they're going to tie it. Oh, nice. 31-yard field goal for their kicker, Norton, who missed on the first drive of the game. He has a chance to rescue his reputation. And when it mattered most, they drive down the field in their 2-minute offense, which is the comeback offense, getting a boost. And he's able to get him into field goal range. Norton, with a crossing of his body, nails the kick. Middletown scored 7. Grand Bay 3. Folks, it's a 10-10 tie. Middletown 3-2-1. Grand Bay 2-3-1. Fans in Grand Bay are actually excited about this to tie 10-10. To tie the defending champs, and that defense, they're not complaining too much, and it's going to be a game where we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 combined punts. 10 combined punts. That is the highlight. I'm not going to give one for each team, and that one, the game itself. Here's the funny thing, 10 combined punts, but they both scored 10 points. That's pretty cool. And Middletown remains 3-2-1, and that gives Middletown, let's see here, that gives Middletown, oh wait, let's go all the way back here. That gives Middletown, on the division, let's see here, Middletown, that gives Middletown, an edge. So they beat Springfield. So Springfield was 3-1. Middletown 2-2. Because they beat Springfield, that kept Springfield in the striking distance. Now Middletown's tied the game. So Springfield at 3-2. If Springfield can win, they're going to keep a half-game edge on Middletown to win the division. So that's pretty sweet. Next up is Coaldale at Unionville. By the way, Coaldale is, let me write this down, 2-3. Coaldale's 2-3. And Unionville is, Coaldale's 3-2. Unionville is 2-3. So Coaldale's 3-2. 2-3. Oh man, that means Coaldale. Holy cow, so our division, Coaldale, Middletown, and Springfield are all 3-2 and something. So 3-2 or 3-2-1. So Coaldale and Springfield could take the edge on the defending champs. The defending champs be 3-2-1 and actually be behind Coaldale and Springfield. So things are starting to get really, really interesting. For those who don't know, Coaldale was 7-1 last year. They were going to win it all, and Middletown beat them in the championship. And Coaldale, for their second year in a row, had a chance at the title and lost. Middletown beat them. So obviously Coaldale is smart, and they would like to be champs, and so we'll see how that goes. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Sunday. Pretty busy for me today, but I thought I would take a break and play a couple of games. I've been able to play 2 this afternoon using my very first Time Sports book. This is when Time Sports, again, there was no boxing yet. Racing Time used a number system, and I had written the Big Country universe up in this version, but it was not called Big Country yet. It wouldn't be called Big Country until I did all the advanced versions of every game. So, but this is super rare now. I don't even have the original files for this anymore. This book, and at some point when I updated this book on Lulu, the original publication, I updated the file. This file is overwritten, and so even this original publication is no longer the same interior, which means these files are gone forever. So anyone out there who purchased that very first version of this, you got a pretty rare thing indeed. All right, everybody, bye-bye.